Hi, uh, I am Loganathan from CEC department. I working as a assistant professor in CEC department. Today we discuss about bus structures and performance matrices. So previous video I explained what is function units of computer, the functional components of the computers, and then explain a basic process structures. So now we discuss bus structures and performance matrices. So first we discuss bus structure. So bus is called as a collection of wires that are connected with several peripheral devices. So main purpose for bus is to transfer the data from one device to another device. In bus, we can also transfer control signals and data between the processor and other components. With help of buses, we can fastly move the data from one device to another devices. So all the peripheral devices are directly connected with the buses. In computer system, there are three types of bus structures are there. So first one is address bus, second one is data bus, third one is a control bus. See the diagram. They have CPU, memory, input, output unit. So all are connected to the system bus. So in system bus, they have three types of buses: control bus, address bus, data bus. So through buses, the data can be moved from CPU to memory, and then memory to CPU, or input output devices to memory, or input output devices to CPU. So likewise, the architecture will be designed. So first bus structure is address bus. So address bus used to carry the address for the specific instructions. So it is a unidirectional bus. So because this data can be forwarded process only here allowed. See, the address is sent to from CPU to memory, and input output devices hence unidirectional. So previous block diagram I mentioned that address bus is a unidirectional. CPU to the data, the instructions sent from CPU to memory unidirectionally. Then second one, data bus. So data bus is used to carry the or transfer the data to or from memory and input devices. In data bus, we can transfer the data, only transfer the data to memory, input output devices. It is also here they follow bidirectional method. We can forward both directions. We can move data forward or backward. The processor can read on data line from memory and input output port, as well as it can write data to the memory. So listen, input output device gives some information or instructions to the memory, means that information will be placed in a data bus. The data bus, again, the data bus appear data is moved to the memory area, memory unit. Next one, control bus. So in this control bus, used to carry control signals. So in order to regulate or execute the control activities. Here also they follow bidirectional. The CPU send control signals on the control bus to enable the output of address memory devices or code devices. So commonly these are commonly the three types of buses used in computer systems. It's mainly for communication purpose. The buses are mainly used for communication purpose. So data move from CPU to input devices or memory to CPU. So that's why data transfer purpose we can use buses. So next topic, performance and matrices. So performance is important for a computer system. So based on the performance only we can select the computer, we can select only the best computer. So based our faster computer runs a program in less time, less time other than other computers. So only the user buy a faster computer because the faster computer will consume less number of times to complete the particular task. The computer user always interested in reducing the time between the start and the completion of the program. The computer will take one task means the computer complete within the time period and also take less number of times for completing the particular task. So user only like that kind of computer systems. So we need to find or calculate the performance of a particular systems. So then only user buy the best system from the market. How the performance is measured? The performance is measured basically depend on three parameters. So on for response time, throughput, and execution time of a computer system. So response time is nothing but time from start to completion of a task. Time from start to completion of a particular task. The throughput. So total amount of work done in a given time. And the third parameter, CPU execution time. So total time a CPU spent computing a given task. So these three parameters important for calculating the system performance. So response time is nothing but start and end time for a particular task. Throughput is a total amount of work done in given particular time. CPU execution time, total time the CPU spent for computing a given task. So there are certain formulas to calculate the performance of a computer. So performance is determined by execution time. So based on the execution time, the performance will be calculated. So performance equal to 1 divided by execution time. So next line, how they compare two computer performance. Let us take computer A and B. I tell us performance A is greater than B. Performance B. That means the computer A performance higher than performance of computer B. So I simplify the equations. Performance equation 1 divided by execution time. 1 divided by execution time A greater than equal to 1 divided by execution time B. Finally, I simplify execution time B greater than execution time of A. What's the meaning for this equation is the computer B execution time is high compared to the computer A. So now, which is the higher performance means the computer A is the higher performance. They take only less number of execution time for completing the particular task compared to the computer B. So that's why the computer A is higher performance compared to the performance of B. So standard formula for performance equations to compare the two computers, that is performance A divided by performance B equal to execution time B divided by execution time A equal to N. Here N is a how much is faster than computer A compared to the B, that is mentioned as N. So let us discuss on example. If computer A runs a program in 10 seconds, we take two computers A and B. A computer runs a program in 10 seconds. Here not mention how many lines in a program. Computer B runs the same program in 20 seconds. We need to find out how much faster A is than B. So solution is, so we use the equations, performance equations, performance A divided by performance B equal to execution time B divided by execution A equal to N. So now apply the values. So execution time of B is 20 seconds divided by execution time of A is 10 seconds. Now divide the two values, we get 2. That indicate A is 2 times faster than B. The meaning is A computer is faster than B. How much is 2 seconds? So we have another equation, that is CPU time calculations. So CPU time means what is the total amount of time the CPU spent to completing a particular task. That is a CPU time, and CPU is the execution time. So with help of these equations, we can find the CPU execution time. Execution time equal to CPU clock cycles into clock cycle time. We can modify these equations. Clock cycle time and clock rate are reciprocals. So now I simplify the equations. Execution time equal to CPU clock cycles divided by clock rate. So finally, CPU clock cycles equal to number of instructions per program for a program into clock cycles per instruction, that is CPU clock cycles. Number of instructions for a program into clock cycles per instructions. Equal to instruction count into clock cycle per instructions. So finally the equation is execution time equal to instruction count into CPI divided by clock rate is the final equation for CPU execution time. So now we discuss one example. Computer A has a clock cycle time of 250 per seconds, 250 per seconds, and an effective clock cycle per seconds of 2.0 for same program. Here also not mentioned how many lines in a program. So they give they take two computers A and B. So clock cycle time of A is 250 per seconds and clock cycle per instructions. So particular instruction clock cycle is 2.0 and the computer B has a clock cycle time, total clock cycle time 500 per seconds, and an effective clock cycle per instruction is 1.24 for the same program. So we need to find which computer is faster and also find how much faster. So first we given values are taken. So each computer execute the same number of instructions. Let us assume here not mention the program lines, so we take as I. So both are executing, both are using the same program, same number of lines, so we take I, then substitute the values. So CPU time equal to number of instructions I into 2.0, that is clock cycle per instruction into total number of time 250 per seconds. So finally A computer 500 into IPS. Again similar to B, 600 into IPS. So now compare these things. A CPU time, B CPU time. So which is faster for completing the particular task means A computer is faster because it will take less amount of time for completing the same program. So that's why A is faster by the ratio of execution time. So next we find out how much faster compared to the A. We apply the equations, performance equations. Performance A divided by performance B equal to execution time B divided by execution time A equal to 600 into IPS divided by 500 into IPS. So finally we get 1.25. So computer A is 1.25 times faster than computer B for the same program, for the programs. So in this way we can calculate the system performance and then performance of two computers and the execution time, that our CPU execution time can be calculated with the help of the equations. The CPU execution time equation is execution time equal to instruction count into CPU the clock cycle per instruction divided by clock rate. So next topic, instructions and the instruction sequencing. So instruction is nothing but a command. So based on the command, the computer will perform a particular task. Here, computer instructions are a set of machine language instructions. The instruction only understand the machines that a particular processor to understand and execute the particular task. So in each instruction have a group of fields. So commonly they have 3 fields in each instructions. So first field is a opcode, second field is first field is a mode, second field is a opcode, third field is a operand or address field. Mode means for each instructions have different type of modes. For example, indirect mode, direct mode, registers mode. They have a lot of modes in computer systems. So based on the architecture, the addressing modes will be varying. So commonly they have 7 addressing modes. That means register addressing mode, indirect addressing mode, direct addressing mode, immediate addressing mode, index addressing modes, and then increment decrement addressing modes. So first field here mentioned which type of mode the instruction will be created. Then opcode. Opcode is an operation code that specifies what type of operation can be performed. Third field, we can specify operands. How many operands are used for these instructions, or it may be used for address or immediate value or memory location address. So it is register operands, address, memory locations, immediate values or constant values are all are used in third field. So instructions are part of the program. So program is a collection of instructions. These instructions are stored inside the memory. For every time the processor required to execute an instruction, the processor first fetch the instruction from main memory and then decode and then perform arithmetic and logical operations. Finally, you can store register or memory. So based on the instructions, the register will be moved to the data, final result will be moved to the register or the main memory. This whole process is called as instruction cycles. So instruction cycle is nothing but each instruction will go through the fetch, decode, execution, and store. So these 4 stages is called as instruction cycle. So first step is to get the instruction from the main memory and then decode the instructions, then perform arithmetic and logical operations or any operations, and then move to the data to the main memory or register. So these stages is called as instruction cycle. So with the help of the instructions, the computer can perform 4 types of operations. So first operations, data transfer between the memory and registers. So data transfer means can here not perform any arithmetic logical operations, directly move the data from memory, particular memory location to the register files. So here we use some opcodes for moving the data from memory to register: move, push, and pop. Third, our second operations, arithmetic and logical operations on data. So we get instruction from memory, decode, then perform arithmetic and logical operations based on instructions from user. We can perform addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and or not operations. The third type of operations, program execution and control. That means branching statement, looping, return. So these kind of operations. Next, fourth one, input output transfer. So data transfer from input to output devices, or memory to output devices, or input devices to memory. So another next topic, registered transfer notations. Here data move from one location to the registers. Data move from memory location to the register. So register transfer notation means here move the data or move the data from memory location to register, or final outputs are stored in register. So we see the example. So first example, the data move from memory to register. That means the data contain a particular address. That address is a LOC, locations. There is a data address. That data address, the data is moved from memory location to transferred to register R1. The second example, here perform arithmetic and logical operations. The R1 register value, R2 register value are get from a memory, and finally perform arithmetic and logical operation additions. The final output is moved to the register 3. Third example, there is get input from any input devices. The data is directly moved to the register. So the three examples are tell us the final result is moved to the register. So final value moved to the register. Next one, assembly language notations. So each instructions follow some standard notations, standard formats. So here assembly language is one of the machine understandable language, is a middle level language, can also say middle level language. Is a human understandable and machine also easily understandable. It is written in normal English. So an example for assembly language notation is first, move locations ROC to R1. That is transfer the data from memory location to the registers. Second example, add R1, R2, R3. Add the content of registers R1. That means R1 value, R2 values are added. The final output is stored into the register 3. So next topic is a very important. So commonly instruction have classified into 4 types. That is called as basic instruction types. So first 3 address instructions, 2 address instructions, 1 address instructions, 0 address instructions. So based on the operand used, we can classify into 4 types: 3 address, 2 address, 1 address, 0 address. So first we discuss 3 address instructions. The syntax or the structure of the 3 address instruction is: first opcode, second source 1, source 2, destinations. So an example for 3 address instructions: add a comma b comma c. The add is opcode, a b c are operand. Here also we use registers. So I use a b c for understanding purpose. So the operation is, here perform arithmetic and logical operations, because here mentioned add opcode. So perform addition operations. So add, that means a operand value, b operand values are added, then finally place the result into the location of c. Here we use 3 operands, that's why we called as 3 address instructions. Second type, 2 address instructions. The structure of syntax for 2 address instructions is opcode, source, destinations. Example, add a comma b. So in this instruction they use only 2 operand, so it called as 2 address instructions. So a b are operand. This the add the content of memory locations a and b and place into the result is placed into the location of b. The next type is 1 address instruction. Syntax opcode. Opcode plus only 1 operand. That means so maybe source or destinations. For example, load a. Load a. Load a and then add b. Finally store c. So one of the program, they have 3 instructions. So 3 instructions are 1 type address instructions: load a, load, add b, store c. So here perform what is the operation is the content of memory location a is moved to the a value, a address is moved to the accumulator. This accumulator is one of the temporary storage in processor. Now the data present in accumulator. Then second instruction is one of this instruction, add b. Add b. Here the content of the memory location b address or b data value is added to accumulator, and again the result is placed back into the accumulators. Now final result also stored in accumulator. The third instruction, store c. Store c is one of the instructions. The final output present in accumulator, that output is moved to or transferred to the store into the location of c. The last one, 0 address instructions. In this instruction only contain opcode, no source and destinations. So example for this address instruction is push. Push means we can insert data into the stack. So next I explain an example how the programs are executing in computer systems, or instructions are executing in computer system. So that is instruction executions. So following steps, they need the following steps. So first step, the program counters. The program, what is program counter is one of the part in the processor. The program counter store the address of the current executing instructions. So they contain only address. So next, the address, based on the address, the instruction is fetched from the main memory. After fetching the instructions, the instruction is decoded. Then third step, after decoding, the operand are fetched from the main memory. So how many operand are used in the instructions? So that operands are fetched from main memory. So after the operand collections, or after fetching process are completed, then move to the operations, arithmetic operations. Then the result is generated. If the result has been stored in the register, the instruction end here. Suppose the result is stored in memory. First find the address of the memory locations. The memory address will be calculated, and then the result is stored in the main memory. Is the entire is the execution instruction execution steps. First, program counter. The program counter contain the address for the instruction address. So based on the address, they can collect the instruction from the main memory. So after decode the instructions, you can collect the operand from main memory, and then perform arithmetic operations. So after the operation, they generate the output. The output is maybe stored in register or in memory. So in these instruction executions, they have two types: one for straight line execution and for branching instructions. Straight line means the instruction of the program is executed in a sequential manner. Sequential manner, that means one by one. The instructions are executed one by one. There is no branch instruction in this program. The program contains a collection of instructions. So each instructions are executed one by one. There is no branch instruction within the program. I take one example. Add A, B, C. Is a 3 address instruction, because in this instruction contain 3 operands A, B, C. Add is a opcode. So what's the operation for instruction is add A, B, the final output stored in C. So the execution process is first start from program counter. The program counter contains the address for these instructions. The address is sent to the main memory with the help of memory address register. And then after getting the instructions, the instruction is stored in the instruction register. Then instruction register, then decode process will be started. And then simultaneously the program counter will be incremented. So after the decode process, we can get the operand A, B, C. We can perform addition operation A plus B. Finally, the output, the addition value is moved to the operand location C. The final output stored back in the operand of C. So okay, thank you. So next slide, next video, I will explain what is branch instructions, how the branch instructions are executing. So now today we discuss about bus structure, types of bus structures, that is they have address bus, data bus, control buses, and then performance equations. Majorly they have two equations for calculating the performance of the two computers, and then calculating the CPU execution time. Then we discuss what is instructions, how the instructions are executing, and then instruction operations. They have four type of operations: data transfer, and then arithmetic operations, input output transfer, and then a sequence, that means branch instructions. Then finally we discuss with one example, and also we discuss instruction lives, instruction cycle. They have four phases in instruction cycle: instruction fetch, decode, arithmetic logical operations, store. Then finally we discuss straight line sequence. So how the straight line programs are executing one by one. So thank you. So we see the next slide. So next video.